After looking back on Dead Rising 1 and finding that it has aged poorly, I figured I might as well check out the later games and see if they're any good either. Well, I haven't played Dead Rising 3 in years, so might as well start out with a more modern title. One that's quite controversial within the community as well.
Jesus!
So either it was good and changed everything for the better, and the boomers are just mad, or it did everything wrong, and the boomers were right about how much better Dead Rising 1 is in comparison to 3, or also the boomers are just being boomers, who I've pissed off before by being different from their hive mind mentality.
If you don't listen to me, then I'm going to be one angry daddy.
Either way, we won't know until we dive into this game and see for ourselves. While I won't go into as much depth as my last review, mainly because the more in-depth reviews always flop hard, I will try to cover as much as possible with what little time I have left before the end of the year.
Nick, I gotta show you something. Come here. Come on.
Dead Rising 3 was developed by Capcom Vancouver, just like Dead Rising 2 and Off the Record, except this time instead of the B-movie cheesiness people loved with a more colorful palette, they wanted to go in a different direction and be more like The Walking Dead, which is both a good and bad thing. It's good as it's a breath of fresh air, seeing something different.
It's good.
But the bad is the writing is subpar and more akin to something found on YouTube or Tubi streaming, as nothing can be taken serious when the dialogue is just swearing and cracking wise-ass jokes.
That's bad.
At times, there's attempts to make serious moments, like when Rhonda loses her arm,
It's good.
but it quickly is ruined with quirky humor and sex jokes.
Can I go now?
Speaking of terrible things, Nick Ramos is your protagonist, and boy howdy, does he suck. While I consider Chuck Green the worst protagonist in Dead Rising till the fake Frank West from Dead Rising 4 came to be, Nick Ramos is still up there as one of the worst. He's always sulking like a baby. Even during serious moments, all he can do is mope. Is he still 15? Is this his emo phase? I can't take him seriously at all.
No, holy crap, man!
Meanwhile, you got Frank motherfucking West, who's covered wars, you know, who went from being a selfish asshole to actually caring for others over the course of Dead Rising 1. You could relate to him as he's just an average man with no real skills outside of photography. He has to learn to survive and fight through the Willamette incident.
What kind of freak are you?
That's good writing, going from someone who's a total piece of shit to a more caring man willing to die for what is right and to help others. Meanwhile, Nick over here just cries like a bitch till the very end of the game. Dead Rising 1 was interesting because of the similarities to Dawn of the Dead, on top of the mysterious characters and goofy B-movie charm, the iconic music and Psychopaths. DR1 was flawed and has aged poorly, but under that jank was a good game worth playing. You cared for Frank. You wanted to know what is going on and why everything is happening. You wanted to keep going despite all the jank. Meanwhile, in Dead Rising 3, right away, the plot is boring. You're just playing a crybaby who keeps swearing and shouting, oh God, 24/7. Before meeting up with a bunch of TV sitcom people who all mostly die right away.
We are all going to die! No! Don't go out there!
Have your fill at the Endless Buffet, then fill up your take-home box for just $2.99 more. Golden Corral, the best buffet in the USA.
You got an emo chick that Nick simps for immediately. You got Rhonda, who's probably one of the few good characters at times, alongside Gary.
What do I got? This crappy job? You hear me? It's a crappy job! Screw it, you hear me? I've been thinking about everything. Ever since this outbreak, I've been thinking about everything.
I used to have it good. You know how good I had it? I was a wrestler. I made myself some big change. I had a beautiful wife, a big house. My wife, she was a great mechanic too. I screwed it all up.
But mostly because she's got a great ass.
I'm gonna save your substantial ass. That's what he said. Shh. Listen.
As for the entire purpose of this game, spoiler alert, click off the review now. 3, 2, 1. Isabella Key started the whole thing to find a cure once and for all and redeem her name after her brother's actions in DR1. That's it. There's no interesting characters, encounters, psychopaths, or anything of the sort. In fact, most of this game is a rehash of the first 2 games and the spin-off Off the Record. Just pure laziness.
Imbecile! Don't lose focus!
Corrupt military, another key starting another outbreak. There's going to be a nuke that destroys the entire city, and you must expose everything, while also realizing you could be the salvation to a cure. Lame, rehashed, boring. Dead Rising 3.
What are you talking about?
Of course, what would this game be without referencing the previous entries? You got a museum section in-game dedicated to Dead Rising 1 and 2. But that's not all.
Not quite sure what my daughter sees in you. You want to impress me? Here's your chance.
They also brought Chuck Green back for the finale, where he's just a pain because all he does is slow you down as you have to chase drones and destroy them before they can harvest zombie kings, otherwise game over. Like seriously, come on, what a stupid design choice. Not only because Chuck Green sucks donkey dick, but because we now have a timed mission on top of an escort mission with a useless AI. Fuck this game's overtime mode here. The finale is just a joke. You'll fail here all the time till you basically get max the level and use certain combo weapons while dealing with Chuck. Oh, but that's not all. We also got the return of Katie. His daughter was Annie the whole time. He's been looking for her forever now after she ran away, blaming herself for her dad going insane and losing his love interest from DR2.
Who cares?
But hey, maybe you want some good news, right? Anyone who's played DR1 knows of Otis. You guys remember Otis, right? The guy who just wouldn't stop calling you at the worst of times and yell at you for hanging up on him because you were being attacked? Yeah, well...
He's dead.
So how about we celebrate with zombie genocide by using our bare hands, of course. Nothing like going toe-to-toe with the undead flesh eaters and Mike Tysoning their jawbones. The combat has been greatly improved. Everything is more fluid and fun. I want to fight with my bare hands and feet for once. I want to snap a zombie's neck and rip off their head, or even body slam them. Melee weapons of all kinds, blunt, blade, and more. Whether you want to use a swordfish, machete, knife, wrench, or even a flashlight, you got plenty of things lying around to pick up and crack skulls with. Melee feels just as good as hand to hand, if not even better, since we can crush zombies and slice them in half. Firearms are also overhauled to be more fluid. You can move around and shoot at the same time. Handguns, shotguns, assault rifles, and LMGs to name a few, all of which are fun to use and splatter zoms with. However, combo weapons is where the combat becomes truly fun. With all kinds of outrageous weapons to use, you'll have plenty of variety to keep yourself from getting bored. Flame-based weapons, electrical-based weapons, explosive-based weapons, acid-based weapons, so many things, so little time to play with them all.
How the hell do you get into the police station?
Combat finally just feels so good to use. You won't be trying to avoid combat all the time in this game, unlike previous ones.
Just hit the thing!
Vehicles have always been in Dead Rising, though in previous games they were restricted to certain locations, such as the park and underground parking, or Plaza in Fortune City. But here in DR3, we have vehicles around every single corner, with plenty of options from cars, trucks, construction vehicles, and bikes. No vehicle feels terrible to use, even the large ones that move slower than others feels good to drive. Sports vehicles are the most fun to drive because of their buttery smooth turns and fast speed, yet in turn that leads to them being a hazard with this game's physics. Oh, and sports cars are have less durability. Things get better when you combine vehicles. Nothing says fun as hell like a flamethrower motorcycle.
Funny dude hiding and bites the bullet. Sunset. Think he needs a friend.
Or even an armored truck that has a gun on top to blast crowds of undead. DR3 vehicles are a joy to play with, and you'll have to get used to them given this game's level design. As you play, you'll gain PP. Once you gain a level, you can use an attribute point to unlock skills in a skill tree. These range from increasing your health to giving you more inventory space, even unlocking new combo recipes and survivor benefits. By the time you make it to level 50, the game will be a cakewalk, and you'll feel like you're an end-game Skyrim character, with all the skills and abilities and recipes unlocked. Nothing really stops you. Hell, there's a skill that regenerates your health over time, just further making this game so easy and simple. Even Polygon could beat the game.
Oh my god! Oh my god, this is crazy!
Okay, maybe not, but you get the idea.
Nope.
Weapon combos were spotty in Dead Rising 2. You had to have a certain item and place it on the workbench one at a time. Trying to figure out what can be combined was a pain. I never liked the combo system before cause it felt so tacked on and rushed. Plus, it wasn't anything special. You could turn a broom into a broom with a blade at the end. Big whoop.
You're too picky.
Yeah.
Well, now we can combine all kinds of weapons and anywhere we want as well. Yes, no more workbenches. We can just do it anywhere at any time during gameplay, whether it's during a shootout with the military or when you're in the middle of a road full of zombies. As long as nothing interrupts you, you can craft to your heart's content, making basic combos to super combos, almost all of which is fun to use on the hordes of undead.
Will do. Cool.
You can combine vehicles too, and not just weapons. You want to combine a roller with a motorcycle? You'll make a roller hog, which is easily one of the best vehicles in the game. What about a backhoe loader and an ambulance? You'll make a shock dozer. There's a total of 10 possible combo vehicles to make and use. Some are more useful than others, such as the mini bike is easily the worst as it's slow and weak. Though be ready as sometimes vehicles explode out of nowhere. Not sure what the hell just happened here.
Shit the fuck!
The world is divided into 4 districts while being a seamless open playground. Take note, Bethesda. Each one has its own layout, stores, weapons, items, vehicles, survivors, psychopaths, etc. This world is called Los Perdidos, obviously Los Angeles.
No shit.
The 4 districts are called Central City, Sunset Hills, Ingleton, and South Almuda. You'll need to get used to exploring each one, as throughout the story it's a non-stop drive from point A to point B experience akin to Grand Theft Auto, but with zombies, which I guess is a good way to describe this game. Ingleton is where you'll start out. After the opening escape, every single district is home to a safe house and a garage for vehicles. Ingleton was themed after Americana, but fell into poverty over time. As such, it's home to a strip club and low-income households. It's very southern Detroit.
I ain't even going near that.
South Almuda is the industrial district. As such, features no residential buildings, but is home to warehouses and other businesses ripe for crafting recipes. Central City is your typical inner city full of fancy architecture and expensive stores. Sunset Hills is Beverly Hills, basically, and is very hilly with many fancy homes on them. Sadly, a lot of these cannot be entered till you encounter a certain survivor or get to a certain point in the story. Any of this interesting to you? One very annoying thing everyone, including the fanboys, agree on is all these roadblocks that appear over time are very, very annoying. They continue to get worse and worse as you play, cutting off entire sections of the world from four-wheeled vehicles and even two-wheeled vehicles. Sometimes you'll have to go all the way around them, which takes more time and pads out the game. It's very annoying. Modders have tried for years to find a way to remove them from the game. They're that bad.
Kid, I feel like I've heard that before.
Every building that has an interior can be entered without a loading screen. The only time a loading screen occurs is to load up a cutscene that's real time. Otherwise, everything is seamless with no interruptions. It feels so good to explore every business, resident, and industrial location possible without interruption, including each district, as Dead Rising 1 and 2 were closed off. Technology was finally there for Dead Rising to evolve. Somewhat. More on that later.
Ah boy, here we go.
After 2 mainline games, a spin-off, and 2 DLC-sized exclusives to Xbox 360, and are lost to time with the marketplace closed down basically as they will never get ported over, they decided that people really didn't like escorting survivors to safe houses, especially ones that are so far away from them. With an ever-increasing amount of zombies and other threats popping up over time, it made escorting people less and less desirable.
I'm hopeless. I just wanted to do some good for once, but I couldn't. And now everyone is dead.
Those zombies are really tough. I'm sure you tried your best to help.
See? I'm useless. In my head, I was all king of impossible. But in real life, I can't do shit.
Instead of having to escort people back to a safe house, now you have to either gather a certain amount of items for them, or to take them to some place like their family home, or even show off how to kill zombies with your bare hands. It all varies depending on which survivor you encounter, though you'll run into other survivors that need you to clear all the zombies around them throughout the game. These ones will never join you and act as bonus experience point encounters.
Hope this helps someone get safe. Okay, time to ditch these streets while I'm still kicking. You should too.
Hey, you know, you can come with me now if you want.
Okay, but don't be thinking you're gonna get me because I don't do dudes, alright?
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
Once you have a posse that increases with skill point usage, you can issue commands to them like attack, follow, and scavenge for weapons. They will stay with you till they die, or if you get too far away from them. The more you have, the more management you'll be doing on top of having to use 4-door cars in order to keep them with you as you traverse the city. For the most part, Survivor AI has been improved to an extent, of course. They still have their Bethesda NPC moments, but otherwise can come in handy early on in the game. Till they die, of course, which is very likely to any psychopath fights you get into. Though with skills unlocked, you can make them have more health, and if they lose it all, instead of death, they'll teleport away back to a safe house and not be usable for a short period of time. You got several psychopaths in Dead Rising 3, but sadly most are pretty mediocre. They didn't put much effort into this entry's crazy folk. Instead of 2014 Twitter like we had in DR1, now we have 2024 Facebook, barely any real crazy folk, just a few nut jobs no one ever notices.
Who the fuck are you?
Majority of psychopaths are just not memorable at all. In fact, I can barely remember a single one's name. There's no Adam the Clown, Joe the Cop, Cletus the gun store owner, you name it. Instead, I'm just killing generic psychopaths. These guys are a precursor to the literal generic psychopaths you fight in Dead Rising 4.
Oh, not so good, huh? Not so good.
Outside of a select few, most are based around the 7 deadly sins. You got pride, gluttony, sloth, envy, lust, and greed as examples. The most memorable ones are Darlene, Dylan, she, and Teddy. Who can forget the average Golden Corral customer that is Darlene?
Hey, stop it! I'm starving! Get away from my food! You skinny dudes! Just think you can take whatever the hell you want, don't you? World on a platter!
Jesus, lady, he was just hungry.
So am I, asshole!
I think you've had plenty already.
Are you calling me?
Oh, shit.
Hey, we found Asmongold's future wife.
Suck a fucking dick. Shut the fuck up.
Dylan with his schlong flamethrower when you enter the sex shop. But of course, Teddy is very memorable because he's literally Asmongold. You know, if his metabolism gave out.
Yeah, the help took off days ago. You're like super late, and I'm not. Okay? I need you to run down to the store and give me some batteries for the remotes and a bag of chips.
Yes. How could I have ever possibly expected that? How could anyone have ever come to this conclusion just randomly? Wow.
Also, if Asmongold was smart enough to make RC helicopters strapped with RC guns, with literal machine guns. This psychopath is unique, and he's the only one that dies himself. You don't get to fight him. Instead, Teddy suffers a heart attack and shits himself. Not kidding either.
No, please, don't hurt me.
Holy shit.
They would make jokes about me being skinny, or not having teeth, or something like that, or balding, because that's how guys are. It's no big deal.
There's a lot of pop-in, flickering textures and shadows and more. You can see it in some of the cutscenes alone. This game has problems, even on Xbox One. Turns out this game was in development hell. Who knew? Still, doesn't excuse the mess we ended up getting in the end. Just know you'll be encountering problems here and there if you decide to play this game.
No thanks.
This game will randomly crash quite often, especially if there's a lot happening on screen, so be careful how many explosions you cause. Otherwise, enjoy your Bethesda crash to desktop experience. It's Skyrim all over again.
What the hell's all this shit?
The PC port has performance issues. Surprise, surprise. A terrible Capcom PC port? Nothing new, and nothing that will ever change. As the game is technically capped at 30 FPS, it plays pretty unsmoothly. Put a bunch of explosions, gore, ragdoll physics, and zombies on screen, and that will lead to even more issues. Never expect this game to run smoothly no matter how fancy your setup is. This game has technical problems that are engine related, and not hardware.
I'll touch you to ribbon.
Dead Rising has iconic music, whether it's the mall stuff or even all the great and memorable Psychopath themes. Nothing like Gone Guru, but sadly when it comes to Dead Rising 3, there isn't a single memorable song in the entire game. From the beginning to the end credits theme, everything is so generic, like a typical horror movie. You're not getting anything justified here. Instead, you're getting sad and suspenseful YouTube audio library low quality effort stuff you'd use to save money on hiring a real composer.
No, holy crap, man! No, what does that mean, man?
I don't know, right? What the hell?
While the entire game is co-op, you will never find anyone online to play with. Yep, even when the game came out, there was barely anyone online looking to play with anyone else. As such, a huge aspect of this game is entirely impossible to play, much like Resident Evil Umbrella Corps. But then again, That one, I can understand why. Go watch that review after this. While I didn't bother going over the DLC, there's a reason for that. For some reason, they never fixed a critical error that occurs in one of them. If you play it, your save data will be wiped entirely off your computer.
Seriously?
Any DLC you play will delete your entire game progress. If you completed the game and wanted to play any of the DLC episodes, don't. Otherwise, say goodbye to your progress. There's no fix either. Just don't bother with the DLC. Just play the base game and walk away.
Just walk away.
Otherwise, this will be you once you start the DLC. At the end of the day, Dead Rising 3 is a heavily flawed gem. It makes improvements where necessary, yet also messed up some in others. The combat, movement, graphics, zombie count, crafting, world exploration, survivor AI is greatly improved, but the storytelling, characters, psychopaths, and more were hindered in turn.
You think you got it all figured out, don't you? You know nothing!
It's still worth playing despite several problems. It's nothing great, just another mediocre game that borderlines on being average at times, much like Dead Rising 1.
Fuck you!
Maybe one day I'll look at Dead Rising 2, off the record, and 4.
It's not a good time to get cold feet, buddy.
Until then, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Nick? Nick, are you okay?
I'm doing just fine, Annie.
I feel really bad. Oh my god. Like super bad gas. You gave me indigestion. Little pig. Time to
This will take me a minute. What the fuck?
Journalist Frank West became famous for being one of the few survivors of the first American zombie outbreak in Willamette in 2006. West was awarded the highest prize in journalism for his photography from inside the epidemic. His conspiracy theories about government involvement have been largely discredited.